This is Rob Carbone, and you're listening to BD4.
He loops out to left field. Going to be a tough play. Jeter on the run, makes the play, and flies into the stands. Oh, what a play by Derek Jeter. There it goes. Deep to left, really deep. See ya. Oh, my goodness, what a shot by Aaron Judge.
Way back left field. You gotta be kidding me. Goodbye, home run. I swear to God, you gotta put four fingers up. Torres comes to the plate.
A home run by Derek Jeter. Oh, what a ball game. A game-winning walk-off home run by Derek Jeter. He is Mr. November.
This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye, home run.
That is high, that is far, that is gone. A tremendous home run to the back end of the grandstand in left field. The Sanchino. No, that Gary is scary.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Ah! Yankees win.
Hey, I mean, you'll take it, right? You'll take it if you're the Yankees. Just coming off a 10-game win streak. Took two of the three games in Boston. One of the sweep, obviously, but playing playing really good fucking baseball, and you're literally not going to win them all. I usually hate that fucking saying. My counter to that is you're not going to lose them all either. But no, they came off a 10-game win streak, and anybody who was super upset with their game 3, blowout loss, you're crazy. Even I'm the one to say that. Now I was upset during it because I had some money on the game, but we're all good now, being that I was fortunate enough to get that money back on some of those NFL games. I earned it back. So no, you're happy with the way the Yankees are playing lately. Everything's going well. We just clinched the playoffs. It took a loss once again. I think for the second year in a row, we clinched the playoffs the same night as a loss on the same night as a loss because the fucking Mariners helped us out. But with their loss. But yeah, it is what it is. We're back in the playoffs, and I'm excited for it. I am very excited. So what's going on, everybody? Rob Carbone coming at you, your host, Rob Carbone coming at you with another episode of BD4, episode 158 of the podcast tonight. Trying to think what has been going on. NBA playoffs still in action. The Los Angeles Lakers won on Sunday night. As I'm recording this, so here's the thing, guys. I recorded an entire episode for 158, and turns out the audio wasn't a good portion of the episode was muted. The audio was muted. So I was so pissed off. I actually uploaded it on YouTube, uploaded it on SoundCloud, on Anchor, and all the other platforms, but I had to delete it because I didn't double check before I uploaded it, and that's my own fault. So the audio came out poorly, so I have to record an entirely new episode. But tonight's episode is not just going to feature me talking about the Yankees series at Fenway, but towards the end, in the second half of this episode, you're gonna see a discussion that Leo, my buddy Leo, and I had, where we talk about the NBA playoffs, where we talk about just the NBA in general too, the NFL also, some NFL, and maybe some I think we got into some UFC, MMA as well. So Leo and I had a fun discussion about a few different sports, and we talked for about 40 minutes. So that's going to be later in the episode. But, to start out here, we're going to do our usual. We're going to head to break in a second, but we'll get back and kind of recap the Yankees Boston series. We'll discuss what we need to discuss about the state of the team, about the postseason that's coming up in about a week and a half. And, yeah, guys, that'll be it. It's gonna be a little bit longer, obviously now, than usual with an entirely different segment here with Leo joining the show for a bit. Now Leo and I discussed all these topics a couple days ago. It was Saturday. So we discussed this on Saturday night. So that's why some of the things you're going to hear as you are listening to this on Monday morning, likely, are a little, off and delayed. So, or not updated rather. But regardless, I hope you guys check it out. It was a good discussion that we had, but again, that's later in the show. So first, we're going to take a quick little break, and when we get back, we'll dissect this Yankees Boston series. Be right back, guys. Hey guys, really quick, I just want to remind you that if you go to my website at nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com, you can find me on social media. You can find the links to my podcast and my blog. So that's all you got to do. Just go to my website, go to nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com, and there will be a page that displays all of my information. All right, guys, thank you. Let's get back to the show. So game one. That was the 12 inning affair. That was a really fun game. Stressful, very stressful, but very fun. 6-5, Yanks took the victory after 12. Jordan Montgomery got the start. Montgomery's been the one Yankee pitcher who hasn't been the most consistent this season. He's had his fair share of ugly outings, his fair share of solid outings. But this was one of his not so solid, uglier rather outings. He went 4 2/3. Was banged around for 5 hits, walked 2 batters, let up 4 earned runs, and he did strike out 7. But I think he let up a home run too to Arroyo. Arroyo hit a 3-run bomb after surrendering 2 hits. Arroyo will be the 3rd hit of the inning off Montgomery in the 4th to make it 3-0 Boston. Bottom of the 5th came. Montgomery again having trouble limiting the damage with another extra base hit led off to Christian Vasquez with an RBI double to make it 4-0 Boston. So, it looked pretty grim for the Yankees in Montgomery for a bit. But the bullpen comes into the game. They do fairly well. And the bats finally catch on, starting in that 7th inning where Yankees put a bunch of runners on, and it's Gary Sanchez who's been swinging the bat very well. Coming through. Gary actually took the ball the opposite field. He took it to the opposite way, and he drove in 2 runs with a ground rule double, 4-2. In the 8th here, if you're watching the podcast, Stanton comes through with a big double to bring home Aaron Judge, who sprinted just fine if you're worrying about his health. That made it 4-3. So the Yankees were putting together a little bit of a rally in the 7th and 8th, or in the 8th and 7th and 8th. But in the 9th inning, here comes Gary again. Gary comes through clutch again, as he's been hitting so well of late. Gary does it again with a better approach. At the top of the 9th, gets an 0-1 fastball, drills it over the ugly monster, ties the game at 4. So Yankees come back from 4-0. They tie it at 4 thanks to Gary Sanchez's big night. And you go to extras, or you go to the bottom of the 9th even. Boston had a chance. Bogarts was on second base, one of the scarier hitters in the game, despite his down year. JD Martinez at the plate, but Chad Green gets him to strike out on his fastball. Bottom of the 10th, Boston has another prime opportunity. Two men on base. I believe nobody was out, but Aroldis Chapman finds a way to get out of it. He always makes it interesting, but always not always comes through, but he did come through this time. Top of the 11th, the Yankees got a run. Luke Voit, RBI single off of Weber. That made it 5-4 Yankees. But then Boston answered back with an Arroyo RBI single off of Lasagna in the 11th, the bottom of the 11th, to make it 5-5. But that, my folks, my friends, was when the Yankees pretty much took over from there. Johnny Lasagna got into a little bit of a jam, but bases loaded, 1 out, struck out JD, and then got Vasquez to fly out to limit the damage in the bottom of the 11th. And then fucking in the top of the 12th, it's DJ LeMahieu with the opposite field RBI double off of Weber to make it 6-5 Yankees. Of course, it's DJ coming through with the clutch hit the other way, as per usual. Lasagna goes out there in the 12th and tosses one more inning. First batter, he gets a ground out, but that pushes that runner to third base. The extra inning rule. Got a runner on second to start the frame. So you got a guy on fucking third with 1 out. Nerves start, revving up a bit again, but I believe he pitches a 1-2-3 inning to get out of it. And there's your ball game. So that was your ball game for game 1. Now let's get to game 2, which was much less of a stressful game and much more of a laugher. Yankees face Mazza, and they get on them. They score 8 runs total in this game, 8-0 win. The offense was good. Sac fly by Gio in the first inning, and then an RBI single by Clint makes it 2-0 in the first. Bottom of the 4th comes along. Higgy and Wade pick up an RBI apiece, makes it 4-0. Bottom of the 5th comes. It's Voit again with an RBI single. And then Clint again this game with a 2-run bomb to continue his powerful season. 7-0 after 5 innings. And then the bottom of the 9th came. Yankees tacked on with another sac fly from Gio to make it 8-0. And the offense was great. 8 runs and 11 hits, 6 walks, just 7 Ks, and 3 of 8 outing with runners in scoring position. But the talk of that game was not the bats. Despite the 8 runs, it was Jay Happ and his brilliant 8 shutout innings against the Boston Red Sox. 8 innings of shutout baseball. Happ only allowed 4 hits, didn't walk a single batter, nobody scored, and he struck out 9 batters. He picked up his second victory in 4 decisions, and he also downed his ERA to a very solid 3.25, which I believe is second on the team, if I'm correct. So, hey, left-handed veteran doing his fucking job and helping the Yankees to another victory, making it 10 in a row at the time. But that would be it. It would just be 10 in a row for the Yankees as they regress to the mean, I guess you could say, a little bit in game 3. Game 3, there's not really much to talk about. Fucking 10-2. They lost, whatever. Eric Kratz ended up pitching late in that game. He had a couple knuckleballs and fucking around. Gave up a homer to JD, but, pitched a full inning. Yankees lost 10-2. I don't even remember how they scored 2 runs. I think Voit had something to do with it, and somebody else hit a home run. I'm pretty sure. I don't even remember because I didn't care. But Garcia started, did not pitch well. Was kind of due for a really bad outing, being that he hasn't had a terrible outing yet. That was his first terrible outing in the 5 starts he's made this year. He's had 1 mediocre, 1 terrible, and then 3 very strong starts. But Garcia let up 8 hits, gave up 6 runs, and I only think he pitched like 3 innings or something like that. And he didn't have it. He had no command, leaving some pitches up. The fastball had no zip to it. Boston was all over him from the beginning. You could kind of tell he was going to get pummeled, and he did. But that's all right. But that does lead me to fucking wonder, does that change anything? Does it change anything for you guys that Garcia got pummeled? Does it make you want to change your mind about who you want in that game 3? Do you want somebody else out there now? Would you prefer Happ with his hot streak? Or do you still want Garcia slotted in that 3 hole, in that 3 slot in the rotation? I don't know. I want Happ. I would say I put Happ there, but I also would say I put Garcia. I really don't have a fucking, not that I don't have an issue. It's kind of the opposite. I am very concerned with both. I know Happ's been great, but it's what leaves a bad taste in my mouth is that 2018 performance. His only postseason start with New York was very poor. And it was actually, ironically, it was against Boston. But maybe I should let that go. I just don't know. He's an old veteran. I hope he just doesn't, regress to the mean at the very wrong time, because he's on fire, and he's been on fire in his last 6 starts. So I feel like, the postseason starting very soon, he could just regress to the mean right then. Now, as for Garcia, maybe he had his regression game and he'll start ramping it up again. So maybe he is the guy you want out there for game 3. But that's far from now, right? We've got some finishing up to do with 7 games remaining this regular season. We go to Buffalo tomorrow for 4 games. And we host the Marlins for 3 to cap off the season. But we clinched the playoffs on Sunday night. So, it's not like the Yankees are going to be really fighting for anything in these remaining 7 games. You can expect Aaron Boone to sit a whole bunch of players a whole bunch of times from here on out until October. You can expect him to continue, to coddle, I guess you could say, Aaron Judge and Giancarlo, only playing one at a time. Which, to me, honestly, man, I feel like that hurts the Yankees more than it does help. Being that those 2 guys were out for over a month each at the same time, I feel like they should be getting as many fucking reps as they can right now. Bringing both Judge and Stanton back with just a week until the postseason. What does sitting them do? You're not resting them. They haven't played all year. At this point, they need to be getting their reps. They need to be getting some at-bats in. As many at-bats as fucking humanly possible. But to sit one guy one day, the other the next, you're not going to get into any kind of consistent rhythm that way. So that really bothers me. That really fucking bothers me. So I'm hoping we can kind of get a consistent full lineup here to know what it fucking looks like once and for all, because we never get that. And I feel like that's kind of important with the postseason right around the corner, to know what your full lineup is going to do and to put them out there. That would be kind of big. Can we do that? But for some reason, I have this feeling Aaron Boone is going to continue to just worry about rest so much to a point where he's completely overthinking it. And again, maybe it's not Aaron Boone. Maybe it's the analytical staff upstairs in the front office making these moves, making these decisions, and he's more of a puppet than many people think. But whatever the fuck it is, it's not something I prefer. I am much, I don't love this whole idea of resting over everything else. I think you need to get these guys out there to play. You need to get these guys out there to get their consistency back, to get their rhythm, to find their footing. We'll see. Now, a lot of people were talking about the Yankees' 10-15 mediocre road record. Is that a concern for the playoffs? Maybe. But again, there's not going to be a crowd. We're going to Texas once the playoffs begin in Arlington, Texas, and what they're going to call the bubble, I guess, too, the MLB. So is it really going to be that much of a difference in this year's postseason? Does it have that impact? Sure, the Yankees are used to playing in their own home, but again, even their home games this postseason won't be at home. The whole thing fucking sucks, man. I just wish it was back in the fucking Bronx. Dude, I miss it. For the past 3 years, heading into this year, I've been going to the majority of the Yankee postseason games. In 2017, my cousin and I even traveled to Cleveland. We went to the fucking ALDS Game 5 where the Yankees won and advanced. I am a big postseason guy. I always go to the game. So it's going to be different as hell. Not only watching from home, but watching them play in a completely different atmosphere. With no crowd, with no Yankee Stadium. So, it's so fucking weird to me, man. It sucks. It's going to be different, but at the same time, October is here. I'm happy it's here. Despite my overall take on this team, not being too high on the lineup with their strikeout issues, not being too high on the rotation with some of the lack of depth and some of the uncertainty as you go deeper into the rotation, with my questions on if they can remain healthy, with my questions on Aaron Boone's urgency and leadership. I've got all these questions about this team, I'm still excited to some extent. All right. Well, maybe excited is not the right word. I'm excited for playoffs. Okay. I'm not getting excited hoping that the Yankees are going to. I'm not getting excited jumping the gun like a typical Yankees fan would and expecting this team to do much because I always see, we see year in and year out they disappoint. So I'm trying not to have those ridiculously high expectations because they've let me down so much these last couple of years. But at the same time, man, it's hard not to think about the postseason and think about trying to get this Yankees team to perform their best. So I really hope they do. I don't think I said anything that made any fucking sense there. I'm sorry. It's fucking late, yo. It is fucking late. It's 3:42 in the morning on Monday. So I don't know. Bottom line, man, I'm excited to be in that fucking October zone again. Once again, I don't know how well the Yankees are going to perform in the postseason. And I'm not just trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just stating my fucking opinion. All right. Did you guys see that Boston drunk? There was a Fenway drunk today that somehow snuck into the stadium and onto some balcony out in the left center field. Did you see that in Game 3? He was holding something. He threw I don't know if he threw a football onto the field or was it a hat that he threw onto the field that said something. But some Fenway drunk was, they had to pause the game in the 8th inning because this guy wouldn't stop gesturing and talking. And he climbed down the balcony and he climbed over the railing almost as if he was about to fall off of it or jump off of it. So it was, kind of an eerie situation where the security guards didn't know what to do, especially with the social distancing and shit. But you could hear everything, obviously, with no crowd that was going on. You could hear him say some shit, mumbling some nonsense. And then you could, the cameras even panned to him, which was surprising because Yes usually doesn't show that shit. But you could see everything he was, you could see him saying something. You can hear it. And the cameras panned to the Yankee dugout. They were all laughing. It was pretty interesting. I don't know what the hell it is. I still have no idea what happened. I got to look it up. Maybe it's, maybe I'll get more clarification. But yeah, the Fenway drunk, we'll call him. So we go to Buffalo for 4 games. We host the Marlins afterwards for 3, and that's your regular season. The wild card series. It looks as if it looks like right now we're facing up against, of course, the Minnesota Twins again for a 3-game wild card series. And again, I'm ready for it. It's been a weird, streaky, up and down season for the Yankees. Hasn't been their greatest, but definitely a good way to end it if we continue to win. And, I'm hoping to, obviously the division seems to be out of hand. It seems like the Rays have that locked. But, if we can just, again, get hot going into the postseason or stay hot going into the postseason, play at full strength, hopefully, and we'll see what the fuck happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I got. I really don't have much to say. Giants suck. Saquon Barkley is out for the season. That sucks. Chiefs played a really fun game against the Chargers that went to overtime. That was pretty cool. Who else played today? The Broncos lost to the Steelers. The Falcons. What is with the Falcons? Keep blowing leads. They keep doing it. Fucking Dallas Cowboys came all the way back from 20 points or something. And I had money on the fucking Falcons. College football is getting more teams in there. Big Ten's back. OSU, Ohio State, coming back next Saturday, I believe. That's going to be fun. And again, the NBA playoffs are in full form, and it's been very entertaining. LeBron James and the Lakers just went up 2-0 on Sunday night. The Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics are in the middle of a series that's 2-1. That one looks like it could possibly go 7. I have a feeling the Celtics aren't done yet. They just picked up a victory the other day, and I feel like they're going to take this one to at least 6. But regardless of what happens, I do think it's going to be Lakers and somebody. If it's Lakers Celtics, that's really cool. The two most winningest, franchises in history. And if it's Lakers Miami, you've got LeBron facing his former team, going back to the finals for the first time since he was there. So that's going to be pretty cool. Guys, let's just, we might as well wrap this up. So we'll head to break one more time. And let me tell you, when we get back from break, we will do the NYK question of the day. And then we'll go right into the segment that Leo and I had, where we discuss NBA stuff, NFL shit, and talk a little UFC. All right, so let's head to break and we'll do all that when we get back. All right, be right back. Hey guys, really quick, I just want to remind you that if you go to my website at nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com, you can find me on social media. You can find the links to my podcast and my blog. So that's all you got to do. Just go to my website, go to nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com, and there will be a page that displays all of my information. All right, guys, thank you. Let's get back to the show. I do want to say, though, before we even get to the question of the day, that UFC shit was fun the other night. I actually didn't see it live. I had to see some of the recaps and some of the highlights of it, but that Kobe Covington fight, shit. That guy's nasty. And he's one of my favorites now. I really like him. I really like that kid. He can fight. And he beat the shit out of Woodley for 5 rounds. But Covington, I like Covington. I like him now. I love what he stands for. I love what he believes in. But I love him as a fighter too, dude. He can fight. He can fucking fight. The other dude, I forget his name. He's a foreigner. He was very good too, though. His name. I don't know. But he was good too. Fucking who fought before him. October 24th, I think, is when Khabib is returning. That's going to be a good fight. There might be another big fight somewhere between now and then. But they head back to Fight Island, I think, next Saturday. So I'm excited. I am excited. I just got into UFC at the start of quarantine. That's when I started getting into it. And I can't stop watching it now, dude. Every Saturday I'm tuning into it. And if I don't, I'll see it the next day. I'll watch the recaps. Oh, man, it's fucking awesome. I just love seeing people beat the fuck out of each other. I get a kick out of it. Loose screws in people's heads. I'll tell you that. All right, guys, let's go to the question of the day. All right. Where are you? Okay. All right, so last time out in episode 157, let's get this over with because I'm so tired. I asked you guys, who was the last Yankee to have his number retired? All right, so the most recent Yankee to have his number retired should have been an easy answer. The answer to that question was Derek Jeter back in 2014. All right, so that was the answer to episode 157's NYK question of the day. Tonight's NYY, or this morning's, depending on when you're listening to this or when I'm recording this so late / early. But this episode's NYK question of the day, for episode 158, I am asking you guys what year did the Yankees first win the World Series? So what year did the Yankees first win the World Series? When was their first World Series victory? Hope we didn't ask that before. I don't think we did, but I don't know. I hope not. All right, so just let me know the answer once more. What year did the Yankees first win the World Series? Let me know the answer on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Preferably Facebook or Instagram, being that I'm not on Twitter much nowadays at all. So just message me the answer, or you can comment on the post once I publish the podcast. Guys, let's get to the second part of the episode tonight, where Leo and I discuss a whole lot on some sports that have been going on. And we had a good time. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And let's just get right into it. And hope the audio is good. I like to think it was good enough. We'll see. No, you guys will enjoy it. It was a good conversation that my buddy Leo and I had. Again, on the NBA, the NFL, and UFC. So let's get to that right now. Guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next show. Ciao. What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Shit. I'm happy I'm finally back at work. I'm finally back at school, so I get the fuck out of the house finally.
Yeah.
So that's good.
We got some sports going, which is great.
Yeah, I'm so happy. The NBA playoffs have been really good, dude. I don't know if you've been watching some of them.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching a lot of the Celtics games. I mean, they won tonight, which is huge. I mean, they could have won. They could have easily been 3-0 in the series, but they just can't fucking close out games.
Yeah, what is it with that, man? Shit.
I mean, Kemba's a problem. Kemba's not clutch.
No, never has.
It's straight up as it is. Kemba's not clutch.
I do love. I don't know. I feel like they've got so much talent. They should definitely be able to contend with the Heat, but.
I mean, but Miami is just in the moment. That's what they are. They're just in the moment.
They've been all postseason.
Yeah, I mean, they're also like a mismatch for a lot of teams because they play physical and they can shoot the ball really well. So, like, a team like Milwaukee, like, they really are going to struggle against that because they're not particularly a good shooting team. They're more of a, like, give the ball to Giannis and move the fuck out of the way kind of team. So, like...
Yeah, I like... The Heat are my sleeper team because... Like you said, they just play physical and they're like very hungry, very competitive. They got that fire and desire, and they're a tough, gritty team. And I like the way they just play good, solid basketball, dude. Jimmy Butler, they've got a bunch of shooters around him. They play defense, and of course, they got a good organization, a good coach, Spoelstra. So that's my sleeper right there. I don't know, but the Celtics do have the talent. I feel like they have the talent over them. I just don't know. What is it? 2-1?
Yeah, it's 2-1, but I still think the Lakers are going to take it. I mean, as much as you and me, I know you and me don't like to see that, but fucking LeBron's playing out of his mind, and you just saw how easy they took down Denver. I mean, Denver's used to getting their asses kicked in the first 4 games, but then the thing is, eventually you're just going to fucking get your ass kicked, and the Lakers are not. They're not Utah and they're not the Clippers. Clearly, we thought Clippers were...
the Clippers fucked up.
Yeah,
I was so pissed off.
Clippers got cocky, man. That's what happens when you get too cocky.
Well, everybody was talking about Clippers, Lakers in the WCF, and then all of a sudden, you can't jump the gun, and they ended up, playoff P, missing left and right, inconsistent. Kawhi didn't even have a good game 7. And
but you know what? Though, Bert, I think they fucked up getting Paul George. I like Paul George. I think Paul George is a great player, but Paul George is never a guy that's going to be your guy that's going to help you get over the hump. Because look, he had chances in Indiana, he didn't do it. He had chances in OKC with Russell Westbrook. And they couldn't do it. They can't even get past the fucking first round. They weren't even a top 5 team in the West. And now with Kawhi and this deep team they're in, the guy can't deliver. It's clearly a personnel problem, I think, as well. I think it's not. I mean, as much as people could say Doc and all this shit and they got cocky. Yeah, they got cocky, but the thing is, the Clippers really thought of themselves as this ultimate team. They struggled during parts of the bubble, and they just aren't a good team like we think they are. They're a deep bench, but that's pretty much it. Their starting their starting lineup is not particularly like wows you. That's their bench. Their bench is amazing. Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, and freaking. I mean, they start with Shamet, and Shamet. I think when Shamet went down, I think kind of like the series kind of went a little bit south because like Shamet's a really good defender, but like other than that, like Kawhi can't do it on his own. Clearly, people gotta like stop saying Kawhi is the best player in basketball. Like you cannot. Like Kawhi is like easily top 5, but like he's not number 1. He's not a KD. He's not a Giannis. He's not LeBron. It's just people gotta like. He's not James Harden. People need to stop that.
Well, James Harden's a fucking choker. I mean, that guy every year he's out of the playoffs just like that. And the Rockets.
Yeah, but part of me says yes, and part of me says it's D'Antoni.
Well, his system, his whole 3-point shooting, free throw system, it's so heavy on analytics, and like I don't think that's going to work ever in the postseason. And he's not really a postseason coach. We always see him winning regular season games, but he never really has that elitism come the postseason.
Listen, his best team he ever assembled, I think personally, and he's built a lot of good teams. He's built that Knicks team that did pretty well. He built that Phoenix. What he did in Phoenix was amazing. But for me, his best ever team was that team 2 years ago when he was with the Rockets, where they should have knocked out Golden State and they lost in 7. That literally was his best team ever, and he fucking failed because one player went down, and then all of a sudden your shit goes into flames. Like they had 2 chances to freaking end Golden State, and they blew it. So like I don't want to fucking hear it. Like it's no excuse. The guy is a systematic failure. He's just whatever it is. Like. Watch it. If he goes to like an Indianapolis, or I'm also hearing Philly, they'll win a lot of games. But I'm guaranteeing you right now, they're not going to win the championship. I mean, you're not going to win the championship with Indiana. You're not going to win the championship with Philly. Philly right now, I mean, I don't want to waste any. I don't want to. We still have to record the show, but
we're recording.
Are we? Are?
Yeah, I'll cut out what I need to cut out. Don't worry.
Oh, sorry, bro. Like Philly is just over. Like I just think they need to build around Embiid. Let's just like they need to stop this fucking Ben Simmons crap and move on from him. Like you can find like 100 Ben Simmons out there.
That's never, that tandem is never gonna work. Never.
Embiid is like Giannis. You need to surround him with good shooters. That's all you really need. If Philly can get a good shooter, some shooters, they'll be a really good team. Like they have talent. I think also the thing that really killed them was letting go of Jimmy Butler. Like how on earth would you never pay Jimmy Butler the max?
Now look at him.
And you fucking pay Tobias Harris the max. Yeah. Like what are you thinking? Like, it's so stupid. Like Tobias Harris is a good player, but he's not a fucking max player. Like, are you out of your mind?
And they brought in Al Horford to clog the paint even more.
Yeah, and they overspend on him. Like there's a reason why the Celtics did not pay him back. Like they just were like, all right, you can go. Like, and they even play better without him. It's like the same thing with Kyrie. Like I love it when Brooklyn fans are like, oh my god, we got Kyrie, KD. Like KD, I get it. Like KD is gonna ball. KD is gonna work. But fucking Kyrie, you clearly see Kyrie can't do it on his own. Like Kyrie is a fucking something's wrong with him. Like in his head. Like I don't understand him. Like he's fucking amazing. But like he somehow, some way, completely shoots himself in the foot and like ruins his team's season by just being an absolute enigma of like shattering himself again over his team, thinking like, like fuck my teammates, they're not, I can't trust my teammates, I can't trust the organization. Like how can you trust a player like that? Like Brooklyn fucked up, in my opinion. If Kyrie ends up being like like what he did with LeBron and just be like, all right, like KD, you won more titles than I did. Like, you're clearly the better player. Like, let's just get this ring. If he can do that, then it could work. But like, it's also New York.
What do you think about the Steve Nash hiring?
A lot of people are talking a lot of shit about it. I honestly think it can and I'm telling you right now, Britt, this could be a great hire for Brooklyn.
Okay.
Because you know why? This guy has worked under Steve Kerr. He knows the game. I mean, dude, one of the greatest point guards ever, Steve Nash. And he has a high basketball IQ. Yep. He knows the game really well. He worked with the Warriors as a shooting consultant. So, like, he learned under the Warriors tree with Steve Kerr and Luke Walton and all those great guys that were there. So, like, clearly, you know, Nash knows what he's doing. And, like, you're going to have KD, Kyrie, Karis LeVert. You're going to have that team healthy, ready to go. It's a pretty darn good team. It's not a bad start for him. I think he can be a really successful team. I mean, Brooklyn ends up doing really well. I could see them being maybe a 2 seed, maybe a 1 seed. It all depends on Milwaukee, but like I could see them being better than Boston. I could see them being better than Toronto, like with KD and all those. Like KD coming back is huge.
Yeah. What is their floor if they don't pan out? If everything doesn't go as planned, what do you think the worst case scenario is for them in 2021?
Well, if KD, let's say KD is not ready. He's not in this. Like, he's in and out with injuries. Kyrie's leading the team, and clearly we know Kyrie is got health issues as well. Maybe a 6 seed, maybe a 5th seed.
So you think they're a playoff team either way?
Absolutely, no question about it. I don't think they're gonna have like a team like they're not gonna have a season like this season where literally everybody's like, "Oh fuck, I'm hurt." Like I don't see that happening.
Okay. Yeah. Wait. So when is the 21 season start? Is it still late December?
I'm hearing Christmas time, past that. So, like, probably around past Christmas or near Christmas, we'll see the new season. I mean, they just announced the draft date, I believe, is November 10th, or I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe it's around early November. So, like, that's also a big discussion to talk about because, you know, because now freaking... we already know the lottery pick, and obviously the Knicks, who had such a shitty season, ended up with the
I was hoping we would get through this without you mentioning the fucking Knicks. Yeah. Number 8 again, man.
I feel bad for you guys. I'm so sorry.
Dude, we are so... Every fucking year, we're getting screwed. Even, like... I know it's not the deepest class, but still, I kind of wanted LaMelo Ball just because he was a point guard, and they need a point guard desperately. But now, who? I mean, what are they gonna do? I'm gonna tell you straight up. If they get a top 3 pick, I would have maybe picked LaMelo, but I'll tell you right now, the kid from Georgia is fucking fantastic. Edwards, yeah, he's really good. I don't think he's gonna fall that far though.
No, those guys, the top 3 are set. Yeah, like, probably it's gonna be Edwards at number 1. Wiseman will go to the Warriors, and then the 3rd pick, I think who's the 3rd pick?
Ball, Edwards, and Wiseman.
Yeah, and then Ball would probably be number 3.
Yeah,
and then I mean, you still got a guy like RJ Hampton still on the board. Yeah. You still got that. RJ Hampton's a good shooter to have. If the Knicks can get him, it's not bad.
They were interested.
But I mean, the Knicks are in a tough situation. They could either trade out and maybe get like a couple guys. I mean, they're gonna have a tough situation, so they got to get rid of that Julius Randle contract. That is just fucking horrible. And I already told you, man, that contract was stupid. They never should have offered that guy that kind of money. Dude. They should have waited and try to get a push into Giannis next year. But like, I don't know, it's just so bad. Like, we were talking about it the other day. Like when we were talking about like, can the Knicks get like a Bradley Beal or something like that? Like that contract, that Randall contract is just, it's not looking too good right now.
Oh, dude, it's fucking ugly. And you know what he's doing? He's just like he's stunting like RJ's growth, Mitchell Robinson's growth. You know, it's just he has just too much control, and he's not even a winning player. I mean, he'll put up some numbers, but dude, he doesn't produce wins. And bottom line, man, they just need to fucking figure something out.
Well, I think they're heading towards a decent direction with the new guy. What's his name? Leon
Rose, yeah.
Leon Rose. I mean, he's a guy who clearly knows the NBA really well. He was an agent for many years, and a guy who understands the game and can could possibly build a team. I mean, it all depends on what he does this summer. I mean, now, not this summer. Now it's not going to be this late fall. To see what he can do with the Knicks. I mean, it's a tough job. Like me and you were talking about this many times during private conversations. It is not easy to build the Knicks, but I think if you go with the Knicks right now, you just blow up all this contract, all this money that you just spent. If you're able to trade Randall, if you're able to trade, who's the other guy they signed? Bobby Portis, and all those like crazy shitty contracts that they just threw money. They literally just threw money out like at somebody. Like, here, come play for the Knicks. Like, they could have saved that money possibly for next summer and can go for a guy like Giannis or Bradley Beal or even in this matter, because he hasn't signed the extension yet, is Anthony Davis. Like, you can still possibly go for Anthony Davis. I mean, you don't think Anthony Davis is thinking, if I win a ring in LA, can you imagine if I win a ring in New York? Yeah. Like, literally, I'll be let's make a statue. Not saying that he's going to do it, but like, if AD comes, I mean, you're gonna start seeing guys going like, all right, ooh, the Knicks, all right, I go to New York, like the Mecca, like, absolutely.
That's the thing, though. That was cool for a bit, but you do have to kind of put together a winning product before you get that star. So you do want to see the Knicks at least be competitive next season and somehow try and compete every night. And maybe they do better under Tom Thibodeau. You know, I know you like that signing. I think it's decent too, but I want to hear more of your thoughts on the Knicks hiring Tibbs. Yeah,
I mean, Tibbs is a great coach. I think. He would have been like my second choice for the coach. I think New York has really been sleeping on the fact that they could get Mark Jackson. Like, Mark Jackson probably would have been my number one choice because what he's done with Golden State, he literally built that team for where they are. He's a native New Yorker. He's played for the Knicks. He knows the Knicks. It's the same thing with the GM job. Like, not saying that Leon Rose is a bad choice, but, like, you could have had a guy like Kenny Smith who's on the inside the NBA right now, like a guy who knows New York. He knows what New Yorkers want. He knows what they've been craving for. They've been craving for a good basketball team for, I mean, God knows how many years now. But the fact of the matter is, Thibodeau's the coach. Tibbs is a great coach. He's built a great program. He's built a great organization in Chicago when he was the coach. Minnesota was not entirely his fault because Minnesota is just an absolute shithole right now. It's just not a great organization right now with all those young players that they have right now. They just can't seem to get it together. But now they're having they're having the number one pick. They need possibly a really good shooter, so like Edwards kind of makes sense for them. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, the Knicks
are the Knicks.
They couldn't mess this up. I mean, Thibodeau is a good coach. The fact of the matter is, he doesn't have a good roster, and that was something that I kind of told you about when Fizdale was the coach. I mean, Fizdale. I mean, as terrible as it was, I cannot blame him for what happened in New York. He never had
a little bit of the blame for what.
A little bit. But the thing is, Bert, like, the thing is though, Bert, like, you can't blame him entirely. Like, that team was just awful.
Not entirely, no.
But like, there's nothing he can really do. Like, he was going to get Zion. He could have gotten Zion. He could have gotten Kevin Durant. Could have Kyrie. But the Knicks just The Knicks kind of just said, no, we're not into
My
it.
biggest
And-
knock there, and I think it was more front office than it was Fizdale, but they played a lot of the older vets and the free agent that they signed, as opposed to their 2 draft picks in Robinson and Barrett.
Yeah.
Or signings. But yeah, so I felt like they should have used them a little more and utilized their potential. But they just again, they need more talent. But I don't want to talk too much on the Knicks because that bores the shit out of everybody. So I want to get your final take on who you think's winning the finals this year, who you think the matchup will be, and then we'll talk about some NFL because I know that started up.
I mean, if we're going straight up from west to east, I mean, the Lakers are definitely going to come out of the West. I think the Nuggets are going to give them a good series. I think maybe
How many games?
6. I think they'll win in 6. The Eastern Conference Final, man. I mean, if the Celtics could win in Game 4, this shit is going into 7. And literally, I cannot tell you who would be in the finals. As an avid Celtics fan, I'm going to say Celtics are going to win in 7, and it'll be Lakers Celtics, which
fun.
literally would be
Shit.
phenomenal. Yes, like literally, Bert. Like just think about it. That's
Classic.
what the NBA. That's what the NBA wants. We want a Celtics Lakers.
The 2
final.
winningest franchises.
Yes, and I honestly do believe that the Celtics can beat the Lakers in 6 games because you know what? The Celtics are a bad matchup for the Lakers because the Lakers, as huge as they are, the Celtics are
Younger
not
and quicker.
that big, but they're quick and they could score
Yep.
and they could shoot.
Yep.
I mean,
Talent, man. They've got loads of it.
absolutely. And the Lakers, it's really just 2 guys, and that's it. Like, I don't want to hear like, oh, Alex Caruso, oh this,
Alex,
Kyle Kuzma, oh, Rajon Rondo, oh, Dwight Howard. Like, I would have been excited in like 2010, but like this is like they're old. They're
Right.
old.
They are old.
They're not very exciting compared to like Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, Eris Kanter, Daniel Tice. I mean, that's pretty much it. Gordon Hayward. I'm forgetting about freaking
Your coach is great too, dude.
Bordeaux over here, and of course Brad Stevens. But like, I also do want to say, if the Celtics fail to make the NBA Finals this year, I will be calling for Brad Stevens to get fired.
Really? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's too long, and you can't get to the finals, and this was your best ever shot to get to the finals.
With talent.
Loaded, and you don't have to face Giannis, and you knocked out Toronto like that, the defending champs, in a 7-game intense series, and then you go out to lose to Miami. Like, nothing against Miami. Miami's a very good basketball team, but I do believe they're better than Miami. So, like, the fact of the matter is, if you lose to Miami like that, Brad Stevens got to go. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's time to really think about it.
Yeah. Did you see the Covington fight tonight? MMA?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Woodley. I saw some of the highlights, but
I kind of expected it. Like, Tyron Woodley, as great as he is, and he is truly a great guy, a great fighter, he's over the hill. I honestly think he's done. I wouldn't be surprised if Tyron Woodley decides to, hang it up after this. Because, I mean, nothing against Colby. Colby is a hell of a fighter. He is an amazing fighter. A lot of people hate him because of his persona and everything. But you know what? I think it's fun. But the thing is, like, he backs it up. He talks a lot of shit. But guess what? He beats the shit out of people. He beat the shit out of fucking Tyron Woodley today.
He won 5 rounds tonight with him. Yeah.
He beat him. He beat him well. And he's proof that he's still a contender for the welterweight title. I still think he has to beat guys like Jorge Masvidal and what's his name, Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, who's the champ right now. I honestly do believe that Colby could get the next shot after Usman fights Burns. I believe that fight's coming up in like a couple months. Of course, I do believe that we'll probably see Masvidal fight again. He'll probably fight Nate, which pretty exciting. Like kind of like pre warm up to like possibly Jorge getting another shot at Kamar, or possibly fight Colby Covington, which I think that would be a money fight because those two guys are the most entertaining people I've ever met in MMA. That's not Conor McGregor, you know. Like, hearing Colby Covington speak, it's just like everybody's either like, yeah, this guy's amazing, or fuck, man, this guy's so annoying. I want him to fucking get his ass kicked. But, like, that's the way he is, and that kind of, like, sells pay-per-views and sells fights, and, you know, he's exciting. And, of course, you know, Street Jesus, Jorge Masvidal, that's my dude. Like, yeah, that guy's just marketable. Like, you can do a lot of things with those guys. So, yeah, I like that Kobe fight, and I'm excited to see what Dana does right now for next couple of fights.
When I think like October 20 something, it's Khabib is coming. It's Khabib.
Yeah, Khabib Gaethje
and Justin. What's his name? Justin.
Gaethje.
Yeah,
Gaethje.
they're fighting soon. So
yeah, October 26th. It's gonna be at Fight Island.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, that's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the next fight's gonna be great too, dude. Adesanya versus Silva.
Oh, Silva's fighting?
But not Anderson Silva. It's another Silva.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, what the fuck? I don't know who that is.
No. Anderson Silva is like.
I was like, Anderson Silva?
No, he actually fought Anderson Silva like a long time ago. Yeah. He beat him. Like, it was a good fight, but no, Adesanya is the champ. Like, he's got to take on the contenders now, and he's still undefeated. And this other guy is undefeated as well. And so, like, it's the one fight where like Dana just clearly made it perfect. Like, okay, Adesanya versus Silva, like one of them I have to lose, so let's get ready for that. It's one of those fights.
Tomorrow's Sunday, man. Week 3 already of the NFL? Week 2. Oh yeah, it's week 2. Okay, good. Thank God. I was gonna say, blown by. What do you got, man? What do you think? Dallas? Who's Dallas got?
Atlanta. It's a tough one.
Okay.
It's a toughie, but they're allowing 25,000 people in the stadium, which, you know, COVID doesn't exist in Texas, apparently. So.
Damn.
Yeah, but I think the Cowboys could win, but it's not going to be easy. Their defense is very worrisome. I mean, the Rams kind of had comfortable moments with their offense against that Cowboys defense. Losing Leighton Vander Esch for 6 to 8 weeks really does suck. Now losing Anthony Brown, who's also hurt, and of course Sean Lee, who's, let's be honest, is always fucking hurt. Mm-hmm. It's very annoying, but I mean, whatever. Our offense needs to start clicking.
Yeah.
I think they definitely started clicking in the Rams game. I just think that, you know, the Rams just played a very high-octane game, knowing that, A, they were playing at their brand-new $5 billion stadium, which looks pretty freaking cool. And also the fact that it was against the Cowboys. I mean, it always adds a little, you know, juice to these players. Like, hey, we're playing against America's team. We need to beat these guys. Atlanta, as good as they are, they just don't have a good defense. And the Dallas Cowboys has way too much. I mean, you got Gallup, you got Lamb, you still got Zeke. Dak can throw the ball efficiently well. Losing the tight end, Blake Jarwin really did suck, but Dalton Schultz can really be a decent backup, so we'll see how that goes. But, I mean, it's an interesting situation for the Cowboys, but I do think they can win tomorrow, but it will not be an easy game.
What do you think? I saw you and my cousin going back and forth a little on Facebook the other day about the Giants. What do you think the New York Giants are doing this year, man? Do you think they're going to have a somewhat of a better season, or do you think they're going to continue to be, you know, mediocre or below that?
I think they're going to be a little bit better, but they're still mediocre. Like, I know you're a Giants fan. I know I'm not trying to tease you guys, but
no, go ahead. I'm not the biggest fan, but
But the thing is, though, you have to be real. They're not ready yet. They're just not ready yet. That offensive line struggled in week 1. They really looked bad.
yep.
Like Daniel Jones, I think Daniel Jones is legit. I think he's a really good quarterback. He has potential to be an excellent quarterback. They have a really decent wide receiving corp now with Slayton and what's his name, Sterling Shepard. Those guys are fantastic. Evan Ingram, when he can catch the ball, is a very good tight end. But their offensive line is terrible. Like, you cannot tell me that things are better when Saquon Barkley has 6 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Do not tell me that. Do not tell me it's okay. Like, they're better. No, you are not good when your starting star running back has 6 yards the whole game. I know the Steelers are good. But you're playing against the Bears next week, the Bears tomorrow, the Chicago Bears with Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith, Danny Trevathan, Akeem Hicks, and all those guys. It's going to be a nasty game. But the thing is, though, they're very lucky, and I think it's a winnable game because you know why? Mitch Trubisky. That dude is trash.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Giants, at the most I've seen them win. And I think they should celebrate, if they can do it, is if they can win 7 games.
Okay.
If they can win 7 games, Bert, I say they got a chance for next season. But your cousin was saying 8 to 9. I was like,
yeah.
Whoa.
I gotta ask him about it.
Whoa. I love your cousin. I love Mike. But I tell you, man, like, there's no way that team that I saw on Monday night is going to win 8 to 9 games. I'm sorry. And their schedule is awful the first 5 weeks. Awful.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Like, you guys got to play after this. You got to go to you got to bring in San Francisco. Like, are you kidding me? No. They get lucky if they win 6-7, man. It's a tough schedule.
You like when you think about, you know what's funny? I saw fucking Jason Garrett on the sideline. I was like, oh shit, I completely forgot we have. I was like, oh, he was there clapping his fucking hands.
Yeah, how do you feel that you guys got him?
I guess
you made fun of me for many years.
Yeah.
You got the clapper. You got the clapper, and now you guys got the clapper. How do you like that?
We'll see. I'm curious to see how Joe Judge does as a coach. He seems like he's a hard nosed, old school kind of guy, but we'll see if he's all business or all talk.
I honestly think, this is my opinion, I think he could be a decent coach because there were some moments like the defense played pretty high octane. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. The only reason why the game got kind of close is because Pittsburgh is rusty as fuck. Like, Big Ben Roethlisberger hasn't played in a year. So you could clearly see he's with no offseason, no preseason, no OTAs, nothing like that. Like, the guy looked rusty. But the Giants defense, I will say, have improved in their secondary. Jabril Peppers is phenomenal. Bradbury they picked up from Carolina. He's really good. I think their secondary is going to be really decent. And of course, they have a pretty decent front seven. Leonard Williams they got from the Jets. That's a pretty good pickup as well. I think they're going to be a good run stop team. I think it's going to be hard to run on this football team. But the problem is, if their offense is not doing much, this defense is going to be playing a lot more. And that's a problem because you got a lot of guys that are going to play really tired and you're going to start giving up points. And I think if I'm Joe Judge, I got to start thinking about, all right, so maybe this offensive line is a little bit of the backbone. Maybe it's tough to build a good offensive line right now, but we need to start thinking about different offensive schemes. Like, I feel like the Giants are trying to be the Cowboys last year. Like, they're trying to just be a runs first. Like, if Saquon's not working, maybe you should just start trying to throw the football a little bit more and start doing a little mixture or balance. But the thing is, they can't do it if their offensive line is this shit. Like, the kid from Georgia had a really good game. I think he had a pretty decent game against a pretty good front seven in the Pittsburgh Steelers. There were some moments that he kind of looked a little shaky, but hey, it's his first game. He didn't have a preseason, so I cannot be too hard on him. But I felt like he played pretty well. But like the other guys, holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
This is bad.
They got to get it together. So who else? Didn't the Eagles blow a lead to the Redskins or the fucking what do they call them? The football club, the football team.
The football team. They're so the Eagles lost their team. Yo, listen. We laugh at Philadelphia. You know why? Because they lost their team that doesn't have a name. Like, how do you freaking lose to a team that doesn't have a name? You don't have a name, and you lose to them. Like, how?
They should just call them like.
What do you lose? You lose to the fucking Ghostbusters? Like, what? Do you, like this shit looks like The Longest Yard when the prisoners play against the guards. Like, this is what I fucking felt like. I felt like the Eagles were the guards, and the freaking the Redskins were these freaking prisoners. They just picked up in the street, and they had literally no idea what they were doing. But guess what? They ended up winning the football game.
Yes.
No, but to be honest with you, though, as much as I like to bash on Philly getting their asses kicked at the end, they have a lot of issues. Their offensive line is clearly beat up. I don't know what the fuck the Eagles always get. Like, they always had these injury problems for so long. Like, literally everybody gets hurt. Like, every year it's the same guy. Alshon Jeffrey can't play because he's freaking. I don't know. He pulled his toenail and I can't play anymore. I can't play for 3 weeks. Like, oh my god, my esophagus is killing me. I can't play football for 3 weeks. Like, I don't get this shit. Like, literally, like, if you cannot play, get rid of them. Like, I understand you pay all this money and blah blah blah. Why keep with them? Like, you literally got to tell them, like, dude, literally don't go outside. Stay in your house. Don't do that much movement, and just fucking stop getting hurt. Get hurt when you're in the football field and it's respectable. Always fucking hurt. Like, what do these guys do all the time? Like, that's what I want to know. And like the same thing with Wentz. Like, dude, I feel bad for Wentz because I feel like Wentz is getting his ass kicked at every moment. Because this offensive line is not playing well. They don't really have a running game right now. Like, Miles Sanders didn't play that game against the Washington football team. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is, if they don't have a running game, Carson Wentz is not going to beat you. You can beat Carson Wentz is kind of, starting to slip in a little bit physically. Like, you could see a little bit that he's not the same Carson Wentz. Those knee injuries and those back injuries that he's getting. Those injuries pile up. And, I mean, the Eagles paid all that money for him, and they let a guy like Nick Foles go. But, I mean, they got a guy like now, they got Jalen Hurts. Let's see what he can do. Maybe if Wentz continues to struggle, I mean, it's going to be an interesting season, Bert. There's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, man, no, for sure. Listen, man, you pretty much summed it up. One last question before we wrap this whole thing up because we got to go soon. But who's coming out of the NFC East?
The Cowboys. I think that's done. I think you and me, as much as you don't want to admit it, you already know we're the most talented team in that division. I mean, the Eagles literally have nobody right now. They're literally playing with fucking guys that we used to play at high school with. Like, they literally have nothing. Like, they'll literally pick up a guy from Walgreens and be like, all right, you're our starting center for tonight. Like, you're playing. Yeah. Like, he's never played football in like 8 years. But guess what? You're playing football tonight. Because you know what? Our freaking starting center is hurt. Like, the Eagles just have too many injury problems. I mean, if the Cowboys really could if the Cowboys are smart enough, they'll win this division easy, really easy. You know what? And call me crazy. If the Eagles don't get it together, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants finish ahead of them.
Yeah,
not saying that they're going to be in the playoffs, but I mean, if Philly continues playing like this, man, it's possible that they can come across Philly.
All right, Cowboys.
But I mean, the Super Bowl is going to be. We all know who's there. No, no.
Brady's
after last week.
You were all over them though. What happened?
I mean, Brady didn't look too good.
All right, man.
Mr. Goat didn't look like Mr. Goat.
Unfortunately, we gotta go, man. We gotta run. I'm tired of shit. I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, it's midnight, Bert. Like, what are we doing here?
Thank you for coming on, though. I do appreciate you coming on the show, man. Thank you.
No, man. I always, whenever you tell me to come, I always come. I enjoy it, man. I enjoy talking sports with you.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, bro.
All right. This podcast is sponsored by Anchor.